Good morning, students. So, welcome to our subject Biochemistry lecture or MChem 103. Okay, this is the nursing program of the College of Health and Allied Professions of the Colegio San Agustin Bacolod. So, we have our general orientations. So, in our orientations, we'll talk about the different topics to be discussed, and of course, by the way, the grading system will be just sent via LMS. Okay. So for the introductions, I have to introduce my name. So I'm Mr. Romel Valentin L. Diaz, a pharmacist, and I also sent my uh, background about myself based on my professions, based on my experiences through our JC. So pakilantaw na lang ng mga uh, about the background of myself. Okay? So I will ask also expectations from you. Kung hindi kaya ng Zoom, so pwede naman tayo doon sa may uh, group chat natin sa FB. Okay? So topics for the general biochemistry, since this is general biochemistry for nursing. So in our prelim, we have to discuss about introductions, a little bit background of the history of biochemistry, who is the person or scientist who coined or authored biochemistry, and we'll discuss some overview of the principles involving biochemistry and the importance of course of biochemistry in nursing aspects as a allied health professional, uh, based in our practices also. And we'll discuss human cells. Okay, so we will discuss the different organelles. When you say different organelles, that is the little organs that is found inside the cells cytoplasm. Okay, we'll discuss also their functions, their importance, and of course the transport mechanisms. So you know what, in the transport mechanisms, cells that plays the important role, especially in the exchange of ions. When you say ions, these are refers to sodium ion, potassium ion, calcium ion that enters and exit in our tissues or specific cells. Okay, so we'll discuss also proteins, amino acids with nursing interventions. We'll discuss the basic characteristic. We'll not really concentrate more on structural, and we'll discuss the metabolism and then these specific diseases, and of course the nursing intervention, how to treat diseases, and of course the care also of the patient. And we'll discuss also enzymes with medical interventions. So topics for general biochemistry for midterm. So we'll discuss also carbohydrates. So be medical interventions. So when you say carbohydrates, this refers to yung mga glucose, mannose. Hope most of you encounter in our general chemistry or organic chemistry subject. And we'll discuss also fats. So with medical interventions. So fats gives fuel for the body. Example. So what are the diseases involved? Okay? Kung may hypertension ka ba, there is a relationship with there is a relation, in the higher amount of fats inside the body. Yes. Okay? So metabolism, we will discuss the metabolism of fats with medical interventions, nucleic acids, and even vitamins and minerals. So based on this our discussion, so there will be incorporation of a patient care also, because you are a nursing student, so it's not really we will discuss all the structures, no, hindi naman tayo mag-concentrate sa structures, sa characteristics, metabolism. At the same time, we'll discuss also different diseases and the patient, how the nurse um, gives a patient care when the patient is suffering from different diseases. Okay, sample fats, carbohydrates, sample diabetes mellitus, for example. Okay, next. Another end term will discuss cell signaling molecules, immunoglobulins, and of course lot of diseases. So by the way, in our discussions, every biomolecules, when say biomolecules class, this refers to carbohydrates, proteins, fats, nucleic acids. So every topic there is already correlation or medical correlation of the different diseases, and of course, the nursing intervention or the medical interventions, because we are allied health professionals. Okay, so next, so objective of the general biochemistry. The major objective of biochemistry is to complete understanding at the molecular level of all chemical processes associated with living cells. So, chemical processes, okay, or chemical reactions happens every day. Okay, it happens in our tissues. It happens in the cells. So cells plays the important role in the biochemical process. Life will not go on without biochemical processes. We human beings, depends on the smallest unit of life known as the cell. That is why this is very important. We study biochemistry. As, as a nursing student, as a nurse, diba? Ako pharmacist, okay? Kayo nurse. When you inject to the patient, okay? Do you know what is the component of that? Okay? Do you know what is really the chemical reaction that happens in the body? So it is really, really important to know that you inject drugs, okay? You have to know also the reactions. Okay? So, kasi all drugs, take note, all drugs, when it enters the body, it undergoes biochemical reactions with the cells. Okay? So, this is very important. Okay? To our profession as allied health professionals. Hindi lang pwedeng nursing lang yan. Hindi pwedeng pharmacist lang yan. Hindi pwedeng pang doctor yan. Lahat tayo, we have to understand what is really biochemistry. Why we have to study. Okay? To be able to acquire important knowledge about the synthesis and reactions of biomolecules, macromolecules in view of nursing aspects. When you say biomolecules, again class, this refers to the carbohydrates. Okay? An example, carbohydrates, yung rice. Every time you eat a rice, there is a carbohydrate there. Okay? Every time you eat a barbecue, there is already a biomolecules, a proteins that is present. Tawag ng macromolecules because they are big molecules that is found in the human body. Okay? So, you have to acquire more knowledge. Okay? How these biomolecules are being synthesized in the body. How these biomolecules affects our body. Okay? So that you can able to assess also your patient. Okay? Kasi mayroon tayong tinatawag na patient care. Kami mga pharmacists may patient care, pero as you are the nursing, you are nurse, you are the frontliner to the patient. Kaya kailangan malaman nyo rin. It's not just injecting a drugs to the patient. Okay? You have to know everything. Okay? To recognize different structures. So dito, recognition lang. Hindi naman kayo mag-drawing ng structure. So it's just, we will have to review some background of your organic chemistry. So, familiarize lang yung structure. So, hindi naman tayo mag-concentrate sa structure. Okay? At least mayroon kayong tawag nito, acquired knowledge. Okay? At least makilala nyo naman. Baka mag-encounter nyo later. Ay, alam namin yan. Ano yan? Glucose yan. Okay? So, hindi naman tayo talaga mag-concentrate. Okay? But we have to, you have to be familiarized. Okay? So, describe the pathways that leads to generation and storage of metabolic fuels. So, in biochemistry, we'll try to discuss how the metabolic fuels are being generated in the body. How are being stored. Fats, for example. Fats undergoes a metabolic process known as lipolysis. That is the breakdown of fats. Okay? A breakdown of fats into a simpler molecules and being stored in the body. Kasi most of the fats are being stored in the adipose tissue. Okay? So, how they are being generated. Okay? To have a thorough knowledge of different diseases involving biomolecules. This is very important. You know, anything in excess, okay, that is being absorbed by our body. Okay? The result is a specific disease or diseases. Sobrahan ka ng carbohydrates, diabetes mellitus na naman. Okay? Kung sobrahan ka ng fats, related yan sa diabetes mellitus. Okay? O fatty liver diseases. Okay? So, that is why we have to discuss more on diseases. Discuss more on the interventions, patient care. Okay? And, of course, the drugs that are being given also. Okay? Next. What is the importance of biochemistry in the nursing practice? I have already mentioned. Biochemistry tackles the chemical process occurs in the living cells. That's why I mentioned a while ago. So we have, as a medical practitioner, as a allied health professionals, we have to be familiar of uh, how processes involved or biochemical reactions takes place in the cells. What are the processes? Okay? Biochemistry is crucial to nurses. Understanding how the human body functions in normal various disease states. So, when a person, for example, nagkaroon ng uh, hypertension due to, example, mataas yung triglycerides niya, mataas yung lipids niya. So, it will affect already the normal function or the quality of life of the patient. That is why we allied health professionals, especially nursing, you take care of the patients, you administer also drugs, and take note. One goal is to improve the quality of life of the patient. Kasi we have to make the patient to go back to their normal life kasi nagkaroon siya nga na disease. Nagkaroon siya ng abnormal conditions in the body. So that is very important. Okay? So, using biochemistry can be helpful to the nursing professions, allowing nurses to determine how much medicine should be prescribed or given to each patient they encounter. Yes. Kasi hindi man pwede magbigay ka dyan ng, example, the patient is suffering from diabetes, nagbigay kayo ng insulin, the doctor will prescribe. Okay? So, pwede rin maka-assess yung nurse to the doctor based on the prescription. Baka sumubra si doc. Okay? Knowing chemical reactions, drugs to human body, and mixing said drugs. Kasi kaming mga pharmacists, we have to dispense drugs, di ba? We dispense drugs, we give drugs to the in the hospital setup. Usually the pharmacists dispense, the nurses receive the drugs, okay? And even the doctor. To the one that administered drug is the nurse and the doctor. Hindi naman pharmacist talaga yung nag-i-inject, di ba? So you have to know also the reactions. It's not just giving drugs there. Natapos na. Okay? It's not, kasi there are a lot of drugs that are coming from biomolecules. Okay? Insulin is coming from biomolecules. Yung mga vaccines, that is coming from protein. Okay? That is why we have to as a part of this subject, we have to really know. Kasi mahirap na magbigay ka ng bigay, hindi mo alam talaga yung component. At least alam, mayroon kayong natawag na knowledge that is very important. Okay? So, yung example, we have to discuss about Krebs Cycle, for example, is the multi-step in biochemical processes by which human body and many other living organisms produces energy as part of aerobic metabolism. Kasi when human, example, undergoes ng extraneous exercise or activities na mag-lower yung oxygen amount in the body. Okay? Krebs cycle plays the important role there. Okay? To produce energy in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So, mayroong multi-step. So, we'll discuss that one by one. Okay? May encounter kayong structure, okay lang. We will not really concentrate on structure, but we will concentrate on the enzymes, the activity, or what is being generated during the Krebs cycle. Okay? G6PD. Diba? Remember G6PD? Glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase disease. There is a problem in the enzyme there. Okay? Wherein glucose is not, or the carbohydrates or glucose is not metabolized in the body because of the absence of the glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase enzyme. Okay, so we will discuss that one. So in Krebs cycle, we will locate that glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase enzyme. Saan bang step yan? Okay, as nursing, you have to remember this one kasi you will really encounter this one in your practice. Okay, for sure kasi you are frontliner to the patient. Okay, kami mga pharmacists we have to dispense drugs, but you are the one administering drugs. Take care of the patient. Okay? If BSN program omitted fundamental subjects like this, nurses would have no understanding how the common things such as acute, critical, trauma, cardiac arrest, fever, infections, higher amount or hyperglycemia, higher amount of glucose, starvation, view that affect their patients. Kasi kung hindi kayo mag-learn ng biochemistry, hindi niyo malalaman yan. Okay? Later on, you will really appreciate the subject. Okay? We'll try. Okay? Don't worry. Nursing student interventions are based on this understanding. Critical care. For instance, nurses learn how to preserve patients' energy, spreading cares throughout the day. Okay? So, alam naman ng mga patients, meron siyang hypertension. So, once meron siyang hypertension, you expect there's a problem already in the amount of oxygen that is circulating in the body. So, in this subject, you can able to give advice para ma-preserve yung energy ng patient mo. Blood gases are performed to ensure patient's acid-base balance, oxygenation levels are maintained to promote aerobic metabolism. Yan, for example, blood gases. Okay? Because the gases, oxygen gases, are being carried out by hemoglobin, for example. Okay? Oxygen binder is the myoglobin. That is very important. So, you have to monitor acid-base balance. What is very important? The pH. pH is very important. pH is important in the maintaining of the exchange of ions inside the cells. So, kailangan malaman nyo yan. Okay? Kasi kung magtaas yung calcium level inside the blood, so, you expect there is what we call hypertension. Di ba? Oxygenation levels and maintains to promote aerobic. Kasi kung maliit yung, if there is what we call a lower amount, kakaroon ng hypoxemia, lower amount of oxygen in the blood, hypoxemia yan. So, affected yung aerobic metabolism mo, meaning, there is a problem already in the generation of energy in the form of ATP. That is aerobic. It needs oxygen to metabolize, okay, to produce energy in our body. Okay? Next. So this is the end. I mean, so again, I really, if this is a pandemic, I know, but I will try my best to give PPT discussions, and in our group chat we can have video chatting, ask some questions, and then I know we have to adapt the new normal. Okay? I know kung nakikita nyo personally, iba't iba yung approach na face to face, but this time I will do my best. Okay? I know, alam niya ng mga pharmacy student how I other nursing student, kasi I teach also nursing student before dito sa Colegio San Agustin, other school like Riverside. I teach also biochemistry. So this time we have to adopt new normal. Okay? Communication is based on our LMS. Pwede po tayong mag-communicate through our FB chat, GC chat, kasi mas madali yung GC chat to give information. So that is our group chat, official yan. So we'll talk about more on the subjects. Okay? You can ask me anytime, verify. So I will upload some slides. So try to ask questions also. So kung kaya natin yung Zoom, kasi yung Zoom medyo mahina dito, mahina talaga kung more than 29 hindi na kaya. You are almost 47. So I really expect some ask more questions regarding our subject. So yung mga expectations nyo, I will just ask you in our GC or have a video call, so that I can really know kung ano yung mga expectation about subject. Sometimes hard yan, biochem, no. Biochem, kayang-kaya yan. Okay. I know I teach this subject for almost 10 years, medtech, pharma, balik-balik lang yun. Okay? And other chemistry subjects, even pharmacology. Okay? Kasi when you teach biochemistry, kailangan nag-teach ka rin pharmacology para ma-continue. Okay? And then you're going to correlate biochemistry with pharmacology. So for about our what call this one, our grading system. So I will just upload in LMS para ma-view yun yung mga yung grading system. So okay. Expect mayroon tayong mga research, quizzes through LMS, And of course, yung attendance natin doon na lang sa LMS. I know if I give some assignments, I will give more time because we know that there is a problem also in some connections. Even in quizzes, we'll give more time for the submissions. Okay. Thank you very much and welcome. I hope to see you in next semester if we have subject on pharmacology. Hopefully. Okay. Thank you very much.